A few months ago, I was at dinner with some friends, and they have 3 young boys, and the oldest was 6 years old at the time, and he said to me, he tugged at my arm, and he said, "Auntie Lena, do you have chocolate skin because you eat a lot of chocolate ice cream?" And I looked at him a little bit kind of stunned and perplexed, and I bought some time, and I kind of called his parents, and I said, "Just listen, can you repeat that?" And he said it again. And so they very patiently explained to him, people come from different backgrounds, different regions, and the sun affects our skin and so on. And we talked about it afterwards, and because they were just joking with me, they said, God, thank God you're like family to us, It could have been taken the wrong way, but in so many ways by so many people. And in thinking about it afterwards, I thought, gosh, if that was a teenager who said that, or if that was an adult, they would have quickly kind of got a slap on the arm, been reprimanded for, perhaps being ignorant, perhaps being racist, perhaps sort of saying something inappropriate, because we're just taught not to do that. And one of our things as adults is, as children, we're given that freedom to ask questions, to perhaps be inappropriate, to just play, to discover, to be curious. And as we get older and as we move through the school system and we get into the world of work, we learn, proper etiquette. We learn how to contain ourselves. And so when we don't understand things, or when there are things that we're not certain about, we're not clear about, we don't ask. We don't have those conversations or those dialogues because we're afraid of, getting that slap on the arm. And so kind of just thinking about that, for me today is really about supporting us in breaking new ground. It's supporting us in really just being daring enough to ask those questions that we don't normally ask ourselves, to be that kid in a sandbox again, to play and to discover. And to start us off, I thought it would be interesting for us to benchmark ourselves against the world's most innovative companies, Apple, for delivering the future today, Netflix, for mastering the small screen, Patagonia, for driving revenue every time they amplify their social mission, Spotify, for bringing new artists to their fans, NBA, for leading the leagues in technology, Instagram, for making pictures that we drool over, SpaceX, for bringing the cosmos within reach. When will you be on that list? What will you stand for when you get there? And how are you going to spark that revolution? So our goal today that I wanted to really sort of set for us was to create this we can do this culture where we're leveraging our skills, our expertise, our background, our experience, and really going out there thinking differently, executing on those innovation ideas, and doing that so we can increase your brand loyalty and increase market share. So in order to do that, what's missing? Well, I'm glad you asked. 3 things that you need to be able to raise your business IQ in today's environment. And they are, 1, context. We don't, in this day and age, need to just understand our industry, the food industry, the retail industry. We need to really understand how our business fits on the global stage. What's going on around the world on a business level, on an economic level, on a political level, and then how do we kind of fit into that so that we stand out? Number 2, strategies. All the interest, all the desire to go out there and think differently doesn't support us if we really don't have strategies, techniques, frameworks to support us in getting there. So today is about just giving you some of those ideas to kind of get your brains thinking. And then the 3rd are habits. Because let's face it, we all have them. We have good habits, we have bad habits, some that don't serve us, some that do. And so really becoming more conscious and aware of what we're bringing right here to what we do so that we choose ones that really serve us. Where are we today? We're in a world where everything is highly unpredictable. The future of work is moving in such directions where technological automation is taking over, where 65% of the jobs that you guys are going to be doing in 5 years' time, they don't exist yet. So all the technical skills that you've learned, the MBAs, the college degrees, the education, the training, while they've served you up until now, they're not going to help you to go where you need to go. And so we're in this era right now of imagination, where imagination, where innovation are going to be the skills that you need in order to survive. So at the end of the Cold War, the US Army War College coined a term called VUCA. And the VUCA environment, it's an acronym, and I'll explain it in just a moment. The VUCA environment was reflective of the state of the world at that time. And I think it really represents where we are in business today. So VUCA stands for V for volatile, the fact that everything is constantly changing. We're facing unexpected challenges all the time. The U stands for, what does it stand for? It stands for uncertainty. My mind went blank for a moment. It stands for uncertainty. We don't always know what's going to be happening. A competitor could come out with a new product that all of a sudden forces us to change gear, move direction. C is for complex. There are so many moving parts in our business. It's not that we just need to know our job, but we're now operating in an environment where we need to create a more cohesive, more collaborative culture. We're working with areas where diversity and inclusion are core company strategies, and we're looking at how to integrate with people that come from different backgrounds, how to operate with running our business in multiple regions, sometimes multiple countries as we grow. Right? And A is for ambiguous, and that means that there's a lot of unknowns in business, particularly as we're moving forward in this kind of uncertain, unpredictable marketplace. If we're expanding into new territory, maybe we're moving into e-commerce, maybe we're embracing technology that we've never used before, we don't have those measurements, those metrics, those benchmarks to be able to pull from. And so we're dealing with those unknowns. So all of this creates a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty. And so how do we deal with this? If you start to think differently in this way, when you start to change the way that you look at things, it will give you the edge over everyone else. Because trust me, not everybody is doing this. The majority of people out there are just thinking, here's my job description, this is what I'm paid to do, and that's it. I go home at the end of the day and I'm done. When you start thinking differently, when you become the problem solver for your organization, you become that go-to person, you become the trusted advisor within your team. You become a valuable asset to the company because you are able to look at what your leadership team, what challenges, what problems are coming up, and provide solutions for them. You become invaluable to the company. And those are the skills that you're going to be needing in order to survive going forward. If you don't do anything, if you stay the same, you are that proverbial ship that is heading towards that iceberg. Could be 3 years' time, could be 4 years' time, could be 5 years' time. But that's where you're heading, that's where the organization is heading. Chances are you're doing things now, a lot of things that are working, but you're also doing things that are holding you back because you think, well, that's normal, that's what everybody does, right? So what I want to point out with you is some of the mistakes that you're potentially making that are stopping you, that are holding you back, that are getting in your way from getting the result that you want. So mistake number one, the stories that we tell ourselves, right? And we all have these stories. It's that voice in our head that says, I'm too young, I'm too old. The company's too big, the company is too small. I can't do that. I don't have the authority. I'm not allowed to do that. Oh, I'm never going to get that approved. We don't have the budget. We don't have the resources. I don't have that authority. All those negative words, those I can't, I shouldn't, I'm not able to, hold us back from being successful. And so my invitation for you today is to go out and break the rules. Go out and break the rules. Do things you think you're allowed to do, giving yourself permission to actually go out there and test out new ideas. Be that kid in the sandbox again. And if you think you can't, this is my grandfather. 93 years old. He had a very deeply spiritual practice. He practiced yoga every day, he meditated every day. And that's him in his garden. Doing a headstand, he would do headstands for up to 2 hours at a time, just to center himself and get balance at the age of 93. So any time that I have that voice in my head that says, oh, I don't know if I can do that, I'm too small, I don't have the capacity, all that, I think of him And I'm like, there's a way. I'm going to find a way. The second mistake that we make is that we shirk responsibility. We think that creativity and innovation is for certain departments or for certain individuals that are highly creative. Maybe it's for marketing. Maybe it's for research and development. Maybe it's for the guys that are focused on innovation or product development. Those creative guys over there, not for us. The world has changed, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot live in that kind of isolated world where we're working in our store, in our business unit, in our little cubicle, and not really paying attention to what's going on outside of us. But disruptive change is hitting us, and it has its positive benefits. It will, if you start to connect the dots and start to collaborate and start to kind of work together as units. It can give rise to new business models, new